Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this My HR Toolkit training webinar on the document library. My name's Simon. I am the sales and support team leader for My HR Toolkit. Those of you who have already joined us on a few of our training webinars should know the format by now. But if this is your first webinar with us, why not drop us a little hello in the chat? Let us know that. But basically what we'll do is we're going to cover we'll go through the agenda shortly. I'll hand over to a colleague who will take you through the document library area, and then we'll also have a little time at the end for some questions and answers. Now, just before we go into the actual webinar itself, I just want to flag up to you one of our topical webinars. So you may already be aware that we are running topical webinars alongside these training webinars, currently running one a week. And the next one coming up is on Thursday, the 28th of May. It's at 10 a.m. And it is covering managing redundancy during the lockdown. We'll have a guest speaker, as a colleague of ours, a HR entrepreneur and former lawyer, Emma Del Torto. Now, if you would like to register for that webinar, then just go to myhrtoolkit.com/webinars. You can find the webinars link in the footer on our website as well. You can register for this coming webinar, and you can also catch up on all the previous topical webinars that we've done, including such as yesterday's webinar that we had on how SMEs and SME leaders will thrive in the new normal with Steve Cockram. We've covered other areas like recruitment, how to furlough staff, dealing with childcare during lockdown. Some really great webinars there for you to catch up on. But today, what we've got is the document library, and we are going to cover shortly, we're going to have a look at a quick overview of what the document library is. We'll go into looking at the settings and uploading documents, some of the miscellaneous document categories. We'll also look at the pending documents. Now, Chris is your presenter today, my colleague. And just before I hand over to Chris, I would like you just to take a couple of seconds and to fill in the poll that we've just added onto the screen. It's just a couple of questions, just so we can get a little idea about what it is that has brought you to the webinar today. So we'd love it if you could just fill those questions in. We'll give you a few seconds just to do that, and then we will be on our way. Okay, so while we're just waiting for the last of you to fill that in, what we'll do is just so you're aware, there is a chat box as well where you can chat with us. There's a Q&A section. Any questions you have about this webinar, just add those into the Q&A section and we'll go through those at the end. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hand over to my colleague Chris, who is going to take you through the document library. So over to you, Chris.
Thanks, Simon. Thank you for the introduction and good afternoon, everyone. So as Simon's touched on there, so today's webinar will be focused on document management, and the areas that we're going to cover are, so we're going to have a look at a bit of an overview and a background to the document library area. Of course, we're going to have a look at some of the settings that you can make as a controller. We'll have a look at uploading documents. That will cover both team documents and individual documents. Taking a look at the miscellaneous document categories as well, before finishing up looking at pending documents. Okay, so before we take a look at the settings and how to upload documents, I want to take a bit of time to provide some background on the document management feature in the toolkit. So what is the document library? Well, as part of the document management feature, the toolkit does provide a document library. Now, this is an area where your personnel and company documents can be uploaded and issued to staff at any time. So just to be clear, the toolkit doesn't provide you with a library full of documents to start with, but you are free to use your own documents as you wish. So maybe you want to look at it a different way. The toolkit allows you to create a definitive copy of documents specific to your company that can be stored in one central place and be accessed from anywhere as long as you have access to the internet. In addition to that, with the toolkit having the element of employee self-service, then you can open up the access to those documents to your employers as appropriate depending on the document type. So the origins of the document library are quite significant because it was actually the first area of the toolkit that was developed. Now, this came about primarily due to the desire of having a system that could track when a document was sent, show when a document has been opened, and the recipient has confirmed that they have read and understood that document so as to remove any ambiguity. The ability to track and log compliance with any important company policies that you use within your company remains as strong now as it did back then. The traceability that the document library provides is of great value to you should there be any disputes on whether a document or policy has been acknowledged or not by a member of your staff. In simple terms, a quick check of the tracking in the document library can be used to demonstrate compliance. Okay, so just to quickly recap, you can use the document library to store all of the documentation you have, whether it be employee-specific documents or company-wide documents, all in one location. Your documents can then be managed centrally by controllers or by managers who have been granted access, making it easier to control and manage the upload, distribution and tracking of all your documents. When distributing documents through the toolkit, you can track team documents to see who has opened them and then confirmed that they have read and understood them. Okay, so now I'm going to have a quick look at how the document library works and who can see each document. So who can see the different types of documents is based on the level of access that they have, e.g. employee level access, manager level access and controller level access. So employees, they will be able to see all document types in their My Home area, but they will only see the documents which have been made available to them. For example, that's a document which has been shared from the management section. We're in the My Home area, and you can see that document has been made available to them. So, but once an employee can access the document, they can then revisit it at any time. Now, this takes the pressure away from HR being asked for copies of the document all the time. Managers will also be able to see all the tabs in their My Home area, but this is only for viewing purposes, for example, as them as a user. And managers can upload documents to the document library if they have been granted permission to do so by a controller on the toolkit. Now, controllers having a top level of access on the toolkit, now they can see all documents. Now, as a controller, you can control the document types that managers can upload to the toolkit. That's because managers can only upload document types for which they actually have the permissions to do so. And these, as just mentioned, are set by controllers. So if you want to have a look at these settings, you simply navigate to the config area. We're taking a look at the access rights and then manager document rights. So this is where you can see the manager document rights for all the managers and controllers that you have on the toolkit. You can actually go through and customize each individual manager so you can set their access to each tab in the document library. So you can see by default a controller has a green tick here because controllers have the top level of access. They're set up so they can see each tab within the document library. Now, depending on the type and level of managers that you have within your company, you can then go into each individual manager here and you can select or deselect the individual tabs within the document library that that manager can see. And when you're happy that you've made all those changes for all the managers that you have, you simply click on submit to make those changes. Okay, so just going to go back into document library now. So there are two types of documents in a toolkit. There are team documents and there are individual documents. So team documents start with induction, company handbook, other rules and procedures, and there's also a team section within health and safety. Individual documents start around contracts of employment. Now, most of the document types that you see are self-explanatory, but I'll just highlight and note some of the key areas just so you can be clear. So, general documents. So from here, you can upload your general company documents, things like expenses forms, order forms. But please note that all employees will automatically be able to view any general documents in their My Home area. The correspondence documents. So correspondence documents may be hidden from employees, and this can be chosen at the initial upload stage. After the upload, the visibility can then be changed as required. With identification documents and visas, so these are visible to managers and controllers, but not to employees. However, a controller can specify the visibility of the identification docs and the visa work permit tabs by navigating to, so we're going to go back into the config area. At this time, we're not looking at access rights, we're looking at a system change. We're going to go to config, system, and then people. Then we're going to look at this top one here. So employee access to their information. So control the personal information an employee can access via their My Home page. And what we're looking at here, we're looking at identification documents and visa and work permits. So it's very simple, and there's a yes/no toggle. Do you want employees to be able to view the identification documents or visa work permits on their My Home page? Click that yes/no toggle in accordance with how you want to operate as a company. Then click on here to update the employee access to their information. Those changes will then be saved onto the system. Okay, so next we're going to look at uploading and distributing company-wide documents. So we'll start with having a look at doing that for a team document. So we'll take a company handbook as an example. So if you've got a company handbook or similar kind of policy that you want to upload to the toolkit, it's very simple. You click on here to upload that new document. You enter the name of the document and then you choose that file from where it's stored on your computer. Then you click on here to upload that document. Document would then appear here under that document category. And once you've got that document that's uploaded to the toolkit, it's then about distributing that document to your employees. So we're going to click on select recipients. And this will bring you up a list of employees that you have within your company. So if you want to send that document out to 1 or 2 individual employees, you can do by clicking on submit, or perhaps you want to send those documents out to multiple people. So you might want to use the selection tools we've got on the right hand side. So you might want to send them out to an entire location or a department. So once you've made your selection, click on submit. And what the toolkit will do in terms of tracking, so it will actually track the date that the document has been sent, who sent the document, the date the employees opened the document, and most importantly, the date the employees confirmed that they've read and understood that document. Also want to talk a little bit about archiving. So as a controller, if a document is outdated or no longer needed, then you can archive a document. So what happens when a document has been archived? Well, when a document is archived, the staff it has been distributed to will no longer have access to it in their My Home area. So it's very simple. Click on the document that you'd like to archive, press the archive button, select yes, and then that document will then be archived. You can then view the archived document. So you go into that section, click on the archive, and then if you require that document to be permanently deleted from the toolkit, you can do so by clicking the delete button there. Okay, so next we're going to take a look at uploading and distributing employee specific documents. So we'll have a look at an individual document. So we'll have a look at a contract of employment. So if you have a new contract which has been agreed for an employee, simply click on here to upload that new contract and it will be filed away against that employee. And once you can see that the document has been uploaded here, a notification will be sent to the employee as soon as the document has been uploaded. You can then track to see the date that it was uploaded, who the document was uploaded by, and the date the employee has opened that document. In terms of archiving, it works exactly the same way as the example shown for the team documents as well. I'm going to show you identification documents as well. So if you have any personal documents which carry an expiry date, for example, driving license, personal ID card, or a passport, you can upload those documents to the toolkit. And when you do that, you'll be able to set a reminder based on that expiry date. So it might be that you want to set a reminder for, say, 1 month or 6 weeks before that document expires. So you'll get a notification. So you go about renewing that document in a timely manner. So next, I want to show you the miscellaneous document category. So in the miscellaneous tab, a controller or manager with access can upload documents that don't naturally fit into any other area of the document library. And you can actually create your own document category here. So it's really, really simple. So we click on here, create a new document category. Click submit, and then you can see that category has now been added to the miscellaneous section. So once you have added that new category, it will then be available here from that drop down menu. And when you've added a category here and you've assigned a document to a category, it will appear next to that document. So you can see here this demo document has got GDPR in brackets. So you can actually use the category filter. So if you only wanted to show any documents related to GDPR, you select that down from the drop down list, click on select, remove the other documents, and it will only show the documents which are related to that category. Okay, the final section that I'd like to show you today is the pending documents area. So this is where you as a controller or if a manager with access, this is where you can run a bit of an audit to identify any employees that haven't acknowledged any documents. And this works for the team documents that I mentioned earlier. So it covers induction, company handbook, other rules and procedures. It basically brings you a list of any employees that you have in your company. And if you've got a large number of employees, you can filter this list down by location or department. And it's going to show you the number of pending documents which are still outstanding against each individual employee. So if you click on the number on the employee row, it's going to take you through and it's going to show you all the list of documents which are still outstanding. So you can see the type of document on this list, when the document was sent, the document name, who the document was sent by, and you can also see the date opened and when the last reminder was sent. So if you're running this, say if you want to keep on top of it to make sure compliance is in check, you could send a reminder. So you could select 3 or 4 documents, click on send a reminder, and when you click on send a reminder, a notification will go through to their My Home message board and also be accompanied by an email alert as well. So if they're not logged into the toolkit, they'll get an email prompt just informing them to log into the toolkit to open and confirm they've read and understood that document. Okay, so just a bit of a recap, just to go through what we've looked at in today's session. So we've looked at what the document library is, why you should use it, and how it works. We've looked at controller settings for managing documents. We've also looked at how to upload and distribute documents, both for team documents and individual. We've had a look at the miscellaneous document area. We've had a look at how you'd keep on top of any team documents that have been sent by using the pending documents tab. So that covers the areas for today. And I'd like to thank everyone for their time and for listening. And just a quick reminder that as with any feature within the toolkit, there is a support area for document management as well, which I'm just highlighting. So if you have a query and need an answer, then you're likely to find the answer within the online guide. However, if you need further support, then you can use the question mark support button at the top of the page and submit a support ticket, which is going to come through to the support team.